What's up, everyone? Juicy J from Dude Let's Chat here, of course, with J and L Jacob from the Dude Let's Chat podcast. Here with a special guest, Casey from Work in Progress. Guys, how are y'all doing this evening?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
I'm doing
So,
good as
so,
well. Just hanging out. No
awesome.
webcam for me today, just because it's like across the room, and I didn't want to grab it.
We're doing it kind of late because of some unforeseen circumstances, but guys, we decided to jump on to the fourth installment of our platform preferences, the Switch. I've got two avid fans of the Switch, and of course, a third of myself because I've been
I
playing a
hate the
lot of that.
Switch.
Oh, there it is. See, now I knew I
No,
shouldn't
I'm
have even
just
gotten
kidding.
here. But man, I'm excited to talk about this. It's the fourth installment, of course, just like all the other ones. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of the individual systems, maybe some slight comparisons from what we found in the last few episodes, but ultimately, it's what makes the Switch a really good option if you're thinking about jumping into gaming, and what makes the Switch a hesitant option. I don't know. So, guys, as always, we're going to start with a special guest here. We've got
Yeah, of
Casey.
course.
Casey, what makes you like the Switch so much? What really gets you
Oh,
into it?
okay, so first of all, I understand that the Switch is a lesser system than all the other ones, but
That's debatable.
it's debatable. My whole thing is Nintendo usually tries to do quality over quantity. They focus on their own specific IPs, and they actually do a very good job.
Yes. Yeah.
And in that kind of sense, it's the reason why there's not really any like bad Mario games and maybe like one or two bad Legend of Zelda games. And in Pokemon, the the only one that I've heard people really have a problem with is the newest one because there was a bunch of glitches and everything like that. But it's like Nintendo has actually been doing very well on that front, where it's like, no, it's family games. They're simple, they're addictive, they're fun, and you can pretty much take them anywhere now. So,
Yes. I will say, you bring up they're family friendly, and I would agree. I would also say they're relaxing because
mhm.
like other games, you got like fast pace or you know aggressive gameplay. I feel like Nintendo really tailors towards like you know wanting a game that you can play and be relaxed at the same time.
Okay. Not to say there's not games like that on other systems, but definitely
Right.
with the handheldness of the Switch, with the types of games it's playing, with this retro library that they've had for years, they continually dip into, and like you said, like you were saying, Casey, you can take it anywhere, and that's not just from the literal sense because it is a handheld to TV console, the first one of its
Yes.
kind to be able to seamlessly go from handheld to console, and they were the ones who, I said back in the day when it was coming out that if there was a company that could perfect that, it would be Nintendo. Because we
Mhm.
know that PSV tried that with a Vita, something that
They
you could play
did.
on your console and still play handheld. Nintendo was
and
definitely go ahead.
didn't also Sega try to go into the handheld as well, and that
Yeah,
failed. I mean, just because the Game Boy was a little bit smaller, but it still kind of failed. But
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. When you think of handheld gaming, that's Nintendo, and they took a lot of their handheld games and they still promote them now on this system that was a pseudo console. It is a console, but it's just great that you can not only just literally take it anywhere, but most, if not all, games on the Nintendo Switch you can play anywhere and it's acceptable. You know, I did see a couple of things when I was going through the Nintendo library recently, like the hentai girls thing. I was like, oh wow, okay. But then again,
So yeah,
yeah, like then
well,
again, Steam had a popular thing, the day after Breath of the Wild, and it was like, whoa, like
yeah,
it's everywhere right now. So the
like
one that you could trust would be the Switch. Go ahead, Jacob. Sorry.
yeah, like I was gonna say, like Nintendo does tailor more to family friendly, more relaxing, but that's not to say they don't have more adult theme uh content. Like they
Sorry.
still got you're good, excuse you.
I
We
know.
still have more like family friendly games, but that's not all Nintendo has. I know that that was a big problem, like for the Wii, and during the Wii U, they tried to go back to like getting more like adult themed games. And of course, the Wii U flopped. Sadly, I feel like it was a great console. It just didn't get marketed well enough.
Hmm.
But with the Switch, they're still going on that trend of getting more adult themed games. But I do love that their main focus and priority is family friendly.
Yes. And so definitely if you look for a family-friendly console, that's the first thought that comes up. If you're looking for something you could play with your kids, with younger nieces and nephews, something that can translate from both the younger generation to the older generation, and even to the present generation, you know, the Switch has all of that, I feel. I do agree with both of y'all. Uh, it's been really great. And then, they don't just have, like you said, the family-friendly games, but definitely they took some gaming franchises and did give them kind of spin like that. One of my favorites on the Nintendo Switch is Daemon X Machina, which was kind of their answer to Armored Core and different things like that, where you were in this mech, it was really fun, you're building mechs, you're having fun, but ultimately it was a bunch of arena-based mech fighting with a lot of family friend. Like you can do alterations to the human that can be more mechanic, and it can give you some benefits in battle and of course in and out of the suit. But like before going on to different missions, you could go have ice cream. And it's like, and the different ice creams gave you different buffs. Like they kept this still the Nintendo. There was a Nintendo spin on it, I should say.
Yeah.
And I loved that. So that would be something like I really do appreciate about it. Like if you're looking for something that can be played amongst many audiences with a great plethora of games that you don't have to worry about if children are going to go play it, Nintendo is definitely one of the biggest contenders, if not the biggest contender. Um,
Hmm.
what else would y'all say?
I
Jacob, you
know.
got something to throw in?
Well, I know for me, it took me a while to get the Switch. If you've heard a lot of our podcasts in the past, out of everybody, I'm like the budget gamer. You know, I do, try to, get things when they don't like when once they get down low on the price range. So I jumped on the Switch uh, wagon pretty late, and even when I got it, I didn't really mess with it too much. My brother, of course, Isaac, always was like, "You need to try it. It's awesome. Play it." Because my thing was like, I don't have time for gaming. And his thing is, but it's portable. You should have time for gaming. You can take it anywhere. And once I finally started taking it, uh, like to the room or during car trips and whatnot, I fell in love with it. Like there's time, and Jeremiah knows we work together. There'll be times where I would bring it to work. And between clients, I have like 20, 30 minutes to spare. I'll play it. So to me, I feel like it's a great resources for adults who are in the workforce, who you might not have the time to game as much as you used to when you were younger, and you feel like you don't have time to game at all. But the fact that you can take it with you, play a few minutes, put it on sleep mode, put it to the side, take care of what you need to take care of, and then go back and just jump in where you were is amazing. That's something I really do appreciate about it.
Hmm.
So I like that too. So the portability of it is absolutely fantastic. To
Yes.
kind of bounce off that, we are coworkers, and like during COVID times, I brought that Switch almost every day.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
played Smash so much. We had a lot of good times with it. I like to play Monster Hunter. My wife and I are still going through Sun Break together. We go at our own pace. I know it's been out for a while, but like we just like to play, and like we'll go on hunt something and be like, okay, we're gonna do our own thing. I love the
And
fact that I can put things down and jump back into it. Go ahead.
and most of the time the games are good quality. Like
Hmm.
Casey was saying, like they really do a good job of pushing out good games. Because you'll see like Nintendo Switch games, they don't go on sale very often. I mean, they do, but it's not very often. And when they do, they're not marked down a whole lot. Um, I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now, and I know I'm like 6 years late, but like I said, I like to buy things on the budget, um, and I'm absolutely loving it. And like that game right now, it still goes for like 35, $40, which is crazy to me.
I gotta know how much you get it for, bro.
I got it for about $25
Attaboy.
because GameStop was having a sale, and like it was like buy two get one free, and like once I average everything out, it was like $25.
There we go. See,
Yeah,
so
I like to budget.
I will. So my add into this because like I love the Switch. I still play the Switch. I haven't brought it as much because our work has been busy. I'm kind of
Yes,
glad I didn't bring it recently for personal reasons.
yeah,
But I will say, oh, we went on a retreat. Our workplace
yes.
took us on a retreat where we were supposed to be there and interact. There was games for everybody. What was it?
Team building activities.
And tell you what, the best team building activities is myself and Jacob playing Smash in between all of those. It was like, seriously? We're like, yeah, this is all we wanted.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
we're just doing it on the clock. Like,
Hey, hey, the point of this retreat was to de-stress. This is how we
mhm.
de-stress.
I'm
We had a
totally there
lot of
with you.
fun.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how are you gonna get on to us for doing exactly what you told us to do for you know?
So I'm actually here's my add into it. So we've heard, of course, it's a great system for all ages. You know, it spans across generations. It's just very versatile. It's got a lot of good family friendly games. We've heard that it's just on the go for the busy person, for the worker. You can take it anywhere. Sure, Xbox has the Xbox Ready where you can play anywhere with any device, including your phone, so long as you've got a controller with you, you know. A great concept, sure, but you can take the whole console with you and there's no issue. You know, you can set it up and use it as its own screen. You can bring all the stuff in a case. It's not a lot of stuff just to hook it up to any TV you may have or
Yeah.
monitor. And so for that, for me, hands down, well, I won't say hands down, but arguably has the best deals on their online store.
I haven't checked their online store. I'm not, and that's more preference. I rather have physical copies than digital, but I know things are, going more digital now.
At the time of this recording, right? Like it should be ending today at midnight. So it had like 1 day left. You can get Dead Cells. It is an older game, but it did recently have an update. Dead Cells and its update for $2.
It's
A
pretty good.
lot of times games go on sale for $2. If you go onto their Nintendo online store, go to deals, and then just switch it from low to high, you will see a bunch of games from 99 cents to up to like $2. And they're random aloof games that you may not have thought about playing. If it wasn't for
Yeah,
that mechanic, I would never have gotten into Cattails.
I
It's a
would.
hilarious game. Like,
I could be wrong, and y'all can correct me on this, but I feel like indie games has switched platforms more towards to Switch.
I
Like I
mean,
felt like back in the day, there's a bunch of indie games on the Xbox, but now I feel like I see more indie games on the Switch, at least being promoted, at least
I would
like what
agree with that.
sells.
I would agree
It's
with that.
mainly being put towards the Switch as well as PC, whereas the consoles are mainly looking at exclusive,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which that's never an indie developer.
So
yeah,
I think cost effectiveness, like if you're just there for some aloof games, just you're just there for games in general, you're not looking for something specific. Things are going to be family friendly. They've got some great deals out there. But now we kind of switch focus to the part in the conversation that no one likes to go to when you love something. But what are the issues with it? You
no,
know?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Oh yeah, no.
So
I mean,
some of the issues is like it's very convenient, um, but it can also be very fragile. The fact that it's a handheld and you can take it anywhere also means it's more prone to dropping, breaking. I know the Switch controllers themselves are very fragile.
yeah, I mean
Nintendo
that's the
had a
main
lawsuit.
point. That's the main point for the thumbnail for this. That drift, bro. The
Yeah,
Joy-Con drift, that was terrible. And it's still going
yeah.
on. Like,
And so to me, there's risks with it because it can be damaged. Now, if you're careful and like as Jeremiah was saying, you buy a case for it, and you're careful with it, then you won't have to worry about that. Except for the Joy Cons. Joy Cons, no matter how safe you are with it, at one point it's going to start adrift.
The wear and
Um,
tear.
the good thing on that is you can get it fixed for free with Nintendo. You do have to wait forever, but it is an option if you don't want to buy Joy Cons, because Joy Cons are expensive. I feel like those controllers should not be as expensive as they are if they have this issue.
Well, I'll give you that.
Um,
$80. It was more expensive
yeah,
than any than the controllers out there by
yes,
justifying that one Joy-Con is technically one controller, so you're getting two
yeah,
controllers for 80. But my thing is most games need both Joy-Cons, or it's insanely hard to play off one. So yes.
and my thing too is I feel the Joy Cons are very uncomfortable to play with to begin with. I play either on a controller. When I'm playing on screens, I play with a controller, and if I'm playing handheld, Jeremiah, I think for my I think it was the birthday gift, gifted me. Was it?
Split
Uh,
Pad Pros. Guys, if
yeah,
you're gonna play the Switch and you're gonna play it, oh gosh. I need to find one of our switches. Tim, do you have one of our switches over there? Oh no, she's ignoring me. She's upset. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But it's awesome. They look like an Xbox controller split in half, and you
yeah,
connect them to either side. You can't play them handheld. Like you couldn't take the controller out and
no,
play in your hand while the screen was there. But if you're gonna play it handheld, it makes it into a comfortable, playable
yes.
situation. It is great, but
Well,
that
So
is also more money.
it is, but
yeah,
I would say those controllers are cheaper than the
Oh,
actual
yeah, they're 50
Joy Cons.
bucks. 50
yeah.
bucks
But
and they have decals on them,
yeah,
but still it's
all
extra money.
the
So you're buying a
yes,
Switch and an extra $50
yes.
Mhm.
just to make sure you can preserve your
Just
Joy-Cons.
because the controllers that come with the Switch are crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
Uh,
Casey, what do
no,
you have to say?
well, the other thing is you have to be prepared. These are pretty much family games. I mean, they are bringing in other third parties, but that is kind of a new acquisition. Nintendo really didn't do that. So most of these games are going to be family games. Are they going to be
yes,
deep? Yes. Some of them are going to be deep. Other ones are just going to be save the princess from in the castle. That's literally all it is.
I mean, yeah, yeah. People, I've
it's
heard
true.
people get on to Sony about it, but my thing is Nintendo. It's pretty much this, like whatever the theme is the theme. They'll do it every year if they have to, you
Yeah,
know.
Mm,
So
and them getting third parties like they do it, but it is something they like ever since they left the GameCube, I believe, and they went with the Wii, and they refused to do third parties until like towards the end of the Wii's
mhm.
lifespan. Like they're still slow. It feels kind of what's the word, begrudging, kind of like fine, we'll do it, but then they like walk very slowly. It's like telling a kid, "Hey, we need to go get in the car," and they're like, "Fine," but then they slowly put their shoes on, slowly tie their shoes. Like, are they doing it? Yes. Is it taking forever? Yes.
yeah. So since we were on like the cost of the hardware and of course the games they produce, something else to be concerned about would be the fact that Nintendo is the company that keeps their pricing.
Mhm.
Everyone else gets jumps onto deals a lot faster than Nintendo. For
Yes.
instance, God of War 2018, after about a year, was down by about $10 on the PlayStation 4, you know? And it was, and I and it continued to go down, you know? It's perspective that God of War Ragnarok by the end of the year should at least be cheaper, you know? But I can guarantee you that Tears of the Kingdom will not go under $70 for like 3 years, you know?
I mean, like
Like,
I said, like Breath of the Wild's still up there,
yep,
and that's like a
yep.
6-year old game.
Oh, it is.
Eh,
It is,
But
and
the
it's
the other
good.
thing that you also have to think about though is that Nintendo was a game company before video games.
Yes, it was.
Like we're talking years. I think their first games were literally on like wooden planks, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
Yeah, their first establishment, I believe, was like they opened their first like business like in 1881 or something like that.
Yeah,
That
so this is
yeah.
a company that literally deals with that. It deals with entertainment. It deals with playing games. And
Yeah,
that's
their focus
literally
is
all their
more on the
focus is.
game and less on the console, or rather, unlike everyone else who do kind of center themselves around the revenue of first, second, and third party titles. Nintendo kept an ecosystem of them, specifically that they thrive on their own titles. Everything else is just extra, you know? So
Right.
I can respect that. But I guess
Mhm.
that leads me to the last bit that we would say is that's the other thing. They're not in the game like everyone else, you know? So they didn't keep going. The Switch is a Generation 8 compared to the Gen 9
Yeah.
consoles we're out right now
Mhm.
with the PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and of course the PC advancements that have happened over the years, you know?
I
The
will
Switch
say,
is still in Gen 8, so oh go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Well, I will say, um, like Nintendo takes their own pace. They're not. They
Mhm.
don't. They're not trying to race with anyone.
No.
They're innovators. They like to take like gambles. Like when the Wii came out, people were like, "What the? What the f is this?" Same for the Wii U, and then with the Switch, like they like to push the limits, which I can respect. Um, it doesn't always go well. Like I said, Wii U was like I said, I thought it was a great system. It had marketing flaws. It was just I can see people's like frustration too because it was just an upgrade from the Wii. And like with the Switch, the new version of the Switch is literally just a screen upgrade.
I mean,
Like
hey, I love the PSP, but that did the same thing, I'm
yes,
saying maybe it's just a thought of handheld does that, people that focus more the handheld or the freedom gamer, if you will, The
well, and
Wii was
that's the
innovative.
thing. Like Switch or not Switch, Nintendo used to push the limit on handheld. Like we
Hmm.
had different forms of the Game Boy, and then the Game Boy SP, the Game Boy Advance,
Hmm.
the
Mhm.
3DS, or was it the DSi and then the 3DS? Like,
2DS,
uh,
3DS,
yeah.
until
So
they finally were like, we're just gonna make a handheld that's also a console.
yeah,
Pretty much. I mean, if you want to be honest about it, Nintendo basically it is a handheld device that is a console.
That
Like
comes
we
with the
keep
console
saying
feature built in.
yes. Well,
Like,
exactly.
I mean, but that's a good point though. Like what Casey said, because you look at the other system and you look how strong their processor is, how much RAM they can push. The Switch can't fully keep up with that. So it's really I know it's advertised as a console that can become a handheld, but really it's a handheld that can become a console.
The,
it's
the other
true.
thing I do want to also kind of point out is because Nintendo has like ran the handheld market for years, they have a very interesting dynamic that the other companies do not have.
Yeah.
They have literally been going back and forth with different kinds of games and making spin-offs of those games. Usually when companies do spin-off of games, it doesn't really work out well. Nintendo has multiple titles that are just spin-offs of main games. I mean, Pokemon Snap, Smash Brothers, Luigi's Mansion. Like these are all just spin-off games that have been on either handheld and went to console or console and went to handheld, and they've just been meshing. The best example would be look at the Pokemon games. It was a very simple 2D top-down view, and now it's you're traversing the land
Yes.
and you're able to actually witness the Pokemon fighting and stuff like that.
Yes.
And
Swear.
are
Like
there
I
glitches? Yes, because it's new. They're implementing new things, and that's what's causing it.
I mean, that would be
yes.
the final point though that I was making. Is like, if you're looking for a console that's pushed those limits to try and make things smoother, faster, no loading screens, this and that, that's not the Switch. It does do what it can to keep a good firmware going. Its software is constantly updating, sure, but it was not going for the same, I guess, focus that Xbox and PlayStation was going for. you
Yeah.
know? So
Mhm.
if that was something that meant a lot to you, the 60 frames per second, running at lightning speeds, 5 games open at once, so you can jump between Persona and Skull and all this other stuff, you're not doing that on the
And
Switch, you know?
I feel like with that point, I feel like a lot of people hate on the Switch for the wrong reasons. They hate on the Switch for that reason, and I'm just like, but they never advertised that.
Yeah.
Like that was never their focus. So how are you going to get mad at someone? It's like someone playing basketball and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to shoot this three from the 3 point line," and they make it, and they're like, "Why don't you shoot from half court, huh?"
That's
It's
what
like he
everybody's
never
doing. That's the hype
he never
shots.
yeah, he never said he was gonna shoot from half court. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Like they were upfront about, hey, this is what we're aiming towards. So if you don't like it, then don't get it.
And that's the whole point of the platform preferences. To wrap it up, is the fact of this is the reason why it might not be for you. But if you're
Yeah.
liking family friendly games that brings a console you can take anywhere, they can just start up and put down, that's seamless between playing console, playing handheld, I'd say the Switch is probably for you, you know, especially
Yeah.
the family friendly games and the pricing that they can throw onto some of the things. But if you're looking more towards the newer generation, if you don't want to spend more on the maintenance of your controllers than you did the actual device itself, you know, and the fact that the games keep their pricing for years to come, so you will be expected to spend
I,
in that area.
I would
Yeah.
like to say something on that though, if I can.
What's up?
Um, I see the pricing on the games. That's a to me, I see it similar to PlayStation. It's good and it's bad. It sucks that it's so expensive. But
Mhm.
it's awesome that if I buy this game, I know it's going to keep its value.
Yeah,
It's the same way how I feel about PlayStation consoles, where a lot of people hate Sony because they're not backwards compatible. But I know right now my PS3 is still holding its value.
it's fair. It's fair, and that is something for the collector. So I guess it's a good and a bad. It's a pro and a
Yeah,
con. It's a con for the price, but a pro for the value that it'll keep. I love it.
if you can afford your hobbies, then hey, I say go for it.
It's
But
definitely one to think.
if you can't, I still say go for it because just be like me and find deals. Like I
Deals
waited six
happen.
years.
Hey,
I
deals
waited
happen.
6 years
Yeah,
to get
don't.
Breath of the Wild.
I know this kind of goes now for Nintendo and PlayStation, but don't shy away from it just because of the price of the games.
Yeah.
Deals happen all the time. Trades happen all the time.
Yes.
It is one of the
I,
benefits of being more of a physical copy thing, you know?
I got my Switch like $100 cheaper because I bought it off a friend. And then all the games I've bought on sale. So do the games hold the value? Yes. But that doesn't mean they still don't go on sale from time to time. It's just how patient do you want to be?
So guys, I think we pretty much wrapped it up. I want final thoughts and final goodbyes. We'll start with Casey, buddy. Any last thing to add?
Uh, if you're just looking to have a good time, if look at Nintendo because they know what they're doing. Most of their games are highly addictive and very fun, and it doesn't matter what kind of game you like to play. They literally have it all.
That's fair. That's fair. Jacob?
I mean, I agree with everything he said. The only other thing I'll add is, if you're someone like me who feels they don't have time to game as much, give the Switch a try. Like it took me forever to give it a try, but once I did, I realized like how much time I can fit in here and there. Like
Yeah,
it's very convenient, and I do feel like even though it is made for families, I also feel like it was also tailored for the working person.
I agree. I agree. And guys, I've already said everything I want to. I guess the last thing I'd say, both a pro for the kids, but a con for weird people like myself. Don't lift the games; they taste terrible. Guys, thank y'all for being here. Work in progress. Where can we find you?
You can find us at Work in Progress SLO on YouTube. We're going to be starting back up here pretty soon. I believe that Dude Let's Chat is going to be covering Bleach, and we're going to be covering Rurouni Kenshin with Jeremiah here over on our
Mm-hmm.
channel.
Mm-hmm. We're all going to be having one big, happy, nostalgic retro time. It's going to be great. Jacob, where can they find us?
Of course, you can find us here on YouTube at Do List Chat, Instagram and TikTok at Do List Chat. Uh, we also have a podcast, so wherever you listen to your podcast at, just check us out at Do List Chat as well. And leave us a
Awesome.
comment. Give us your thoughts on the
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah. If you think that actually the Switch games taste amazing, get in those comments. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what spices
Right?
to add. Okay. And if you're not subscribed, it hurts. It hurts, but you know what? I can get over it. I'll just
We
play
still love you.
more of Link's Awakening. Thank y'all so much for being here. And until next time, till our finale, where we all come together and review all of this and just be like, hey, just pick your preference. In the war, go play some games. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay beautiful.